he went to start an education firm, and this was the banner on that website. And it has things in it like solar panels that are in the shade and near the water, which isn't exactly where you'd want a solar panel. But it also has students standing around. I think they're taking a selfie, but we're missing a camera. Also, the woman has 3 arms, and I was very disappointed with that because I couldn't get my 4-legged chicken. And then also, here's the gentleman in the back with the red sweater on. There's an orange arm just sort of hanging out in the air somewhere. Um, we also have sustainability issues with AI, its cost, who controls it, and the digital divide that leads to. So it's the students who can afford to pay for the tools are going to have a different experience to the students who are using the free tools. The labor practices. OpenAI employees labor in Kenya and India to fix AI. So these workers have to sort through images and text and help filter the bad material. And uh, all of this affects the workers, right? So it's a psychologically precarious job, and they're paid $1.32 to $2 an hour. They're suffering from PTSD, and they're not supported from the trauma of their work. We also have intellectual property issues. AI is trained on copyrighted materials, and there's currently no clear litigation, except for one rule that came out that said that AI output cannot hold a copyright. And I have a link if you're interested in any of these issues. I have links in this presentation um, to, for instance, the legal implications of generative AI. The environmental cost, training a single AI model can emit as much carbon as 5 cars in their lifetimes. So I found this was pretty astounding. And some of the irony about this is that a lot of AI is being used in climate science that ostensibly is going to help us solve some of those problems. Um, but despite all of this, right, one of the things that we do is we have a lot of tools that we use in the classroom that that have those kinds of problems. That doesn't mean that um, like for instance, the LMS. We'll use an LMS at a college, and yet we know that there are pieces of the LMS that are not ADA 508 compliant. They're not accessible. But we use them anyway because it's the tool that we have. And for some reason, despite the recent DOJ letter to government agencies, where they're saying they're going to put teeth into the rules around accessibility, we still persist in this. We'll weigh the benefits and the risks, and we tend to we tend to use the tools anyway. But one of the issues around technology and ed tech is we tend to start viewing education in a sort of a transactional way. The student, we deliver the lecture, the student turns in the paper, the student gets the grade, and that's and that a vision of education is often only reinforced by technology. So when I say that we can rethink it, see here, I'm asking if we're going to use this technology, where's the pedagogy and where's the learner centered in this technology? We have um, we have a mascot at Clover Park Technical College. It's a Simon robot. So our boss dropped this off in our office, and I thought it had an interesting pedagogical formula on the side of it that says "Watch, remember, and repeat," um, which is feels a lot like some of the training that gets developed by HR. You know, the point and click kind of vision of education technology. Um, But I think that despite these problems, we can still have a uh, we can still focus on centering students and teachers throughout of it. We can attend to privacy and data security, uh, and minimize bias and promote fairness. And I think that some of the ways to do that, as already has been mentioned elsewhere, is to teach learning as a process, but we can also use AI to support those processes. Using AI, for instance, in brainstorming, creating concept maps, outlines, and drafts. Um, we can explore open pedagogy, take a closer look at that. If you're familiar with uh, open pedagogy. It's student created assessments, student driven assignments, student gathered research and readings, and it provides students with an investment into their own teaching and learning. Using AI to scaffold assignments, so we can create assignments that are connected to transparent outcomes and other assignments. So an example of this is like I would have a faculty member come in and saying, well, now I'm using Canvas as our learning management system, and I have this multiple choice test. And what I'd like to do with this is, put it on Canvas. And I said, okay, let's do that, but let's before we go back to a multiple choice test, and we're using that because that's what Canvas can grade, right? Um, let's go ahead and take the multiple choice test and the outcomes of your course, put them into a prompt, and say give us three examples of three student-centered assignments that we can use in place of a multiple choice test. Um, and the other thing about the AI scaffolding, if you're going to insist on using a multiple choice test, there are ways to create multiple choice tests where the questions are dependent on each other. So if you understand the first three questions, then you'll have the pieces to solve the fourth problem, right? So AI can help you create those kinds of assignments. One of the things I think in all of this too is to know your students. So in your classes, you can use a daily written check-in or a conversation where you check in with your students. Weekly journal writing and doing things to build community in the classroom. Uh, and even at a technical college, right? You say, I would have somebody saying, "Well, I'm doing auto upholstery. How do I do that?" And that's often just getting students together to talk about what problems they had during the week and how they solved the problems. So that's uh, there's a lot of ways to build community and getting to know your students. Let your students connect. Your students can work together with AI for editing, creating group projects, getting suggestions on how to demonstrate what they've learned. Also, study groups that also use AI as a study partner, and also to assist in peer review. So these are ways to use AI and still have people working together. You can use AI to support project-based learning. So assignments and practices for project-based learning can include long-term projects that demonstrate ongoing learning, creating concept maps or infographics. The students can create a business together, design a building, and writing business plans. So you can see that these are uh, solutions that we've been thinking about for a technical college, but you could apply the same kind of principles to any discipline. Um, Teaching prompt engineering, I think, uh, is a real is a real important part of critical thinking right now. Um, I have a link here to the tree of thoughts example, and if you haven't seen that work, I highly recommend it because the tree of thoughts example is what you do is um, you ask the AI to create three experts to debate a position using the tree of thoughts. And what it does is it breaks down the arguments into like the first statement, which is the trunk, and the branches are represent the different supporting arguments to that main argument. And the um, uh, the interesting thing is that I had Chat GPT. I said I want to talk about the relationship um, between student engagement and the connections between that and student success and retention. And so it created the three arguments and broke down all of the supporting arguments. And then I said, this output is complex. I'd like to see this as a concept map. And so it gave me the code, the XML code that I could put into a program that would display a concept map. And I said, I don't have anything available right now to view this code. Could you rewrite this in HTML5? And so it was able to do that. I was able to cut and paste it into a page and see a concept map of the arguments. And then I asked it to put it in color, and HTML5 can sometimes not handle that sort of thing very well. So what it did was it went out and found a JavaScript compatible with the HTML5 code and redid everything in color. And I have a link there to that example. Um, Creating GPTs. GPTs can be used for open pedagogy, transparency in learning and teaching, reading apprenticeship, active learning strategies, and problem-solving techniques. So what we've done there is, let's see if I can get this open here. So one of the worst things you can do in a presentation, I think here is uh, try and do a live demonstration of Chat GPT, but I just wanted to kind of show you what a um, little bit of the work that went into this. So this is what I'm calling the Open Pedagogy Bot, a curriculum and instructional design assistant specializing in UDL and open pedagogy. And a lot of this is, I think, is going to be good for new instructional designers. But if we just look under the hood for a moment, what we're able to do when we create GPTs is we can ask it to we're basically asking ChatGPT to favor this knowledge base. That's one of the things I think that's going to help mitigate some of the problems that arise from just using ChatGPT the way that we have been using it. So for instance, in this, the knowledge base I put together was a lot of information on universal design for learning, um, and essays on rhizomatic education, George Siemens and Stephen Downes' work on connectivism, the OER starter kit. Um, there was UN Sustainable Development Goals. We use a lot of that in ABE, Adult Basic Education, and then there's OER starter kit, hacking innovative products. Yeah. Oh, and Higher Education for Good was it was another open source book that has a lot of information on it about um, open pedagogy assignments, but it also has that book also has a lot of uh, information in it about people trying to address uh, the problems with AI. So what's funny is that I'm asking the AI to think about mitigating the problems in AI. So then I also have its capabilities as web browsing. So one of the things that you can do is you can put in a URL and ask it to use the information at the URL um, to help expand its knowledge base. Um, so there's so my point here is that there are ways to I think that there are ways to use this AI that are going to be more effective than others, and that will help mitigate some of the problems. The Open Pedagogy Bot, if you are using GPTs, um, uh, this was uh, uh, this was done in Chat GPT 4.0, and the this Open Pedagogy Bot was published to the Explored GPTs. So anybody can access this. I don't think that you can edit it though. If you want to, if anybody wants the documentation that I pushed into this, they can always contact me. Um, okay. So that's one of the ways I think that we're going to do it. But the apart from hacking the tools, which is I think that we should definitely be doing, um, it's it's also I think that it's important that we start to bring out our concerns and our ideas about AI uh, to a broader audience, right? The the uh, the thing that's happens is like, for instance, you hear a lot of people say, "Well, AI, it's inevitable, it's here, and then we need to we just have to accept it," and that's there's probably something to that, right? Uh, it could be like MOOCs, it could go away. AI could also uh, finally figure out how to make a four-legged chicken and be uh, something else. But I think that we need to express it in our policies. So um, we need to be clear with the students about what our approach and our use to AI is, and I have example syllabus policies for AI generative tools. Um, we need to be involved in campus. We need to be talking to student government, um, our faculty senates, and talk to our administrators. Um, and I think we're going to wind up in a situation where we're using tools, for instance, like the LMS, that are not ADA 508 compliant. Um, and so the time to start talking to faculty senates and administrators was 2 years ago, but it's never too late. We need to talk to state or provincial governments, start or participate in dialogues with education departments, your local politicians, and your IT directors. Here in the state of Washington, there's an AI task force being developed by the state, and I think there's one or two people from this state board of community and technical colleges there, but it's overly represented by industry, and because the state is concerned with businesses, but it's time for us to talk to our local politicians, our state IT directors about these issues. We have global solutions. We have UNESCO recommends that we define system-wide policies on AI, that we assess AI readiness, that we adopt a human rights perspective, that we cultivate a learner-centered approach to AI, and that we ensure the empowerment of teachers with AI, and we actively seek and promote the use of AI to support a wide range of educational approaches and diverse pathways for lifelong learning. I highly recommend the UNESCO paper, AI in Education Guidance for Policymakers. Then I also, I've been an advocate for open source since probably the late 80s. With open source versions of generative AI like Llama, we can choose the training data, protect student privacy, control the cost, and employ transparent algorithms. Okay, so my final thought that I'd like to leave you with is from John Culkin. We become what we behold. We shape our tools, and then our tools shape us. And I don't know if that's a warning or not. But with that, I'll also leave you with the resources. Many of the things that I've been talking about are here, including yesterday's keynote, Tricia Bertram Gallant, Crafting Your Gen AI and AI Policy, a Guide for Instructors from UC San Diego. It was a fantastic presentation, and it's very useful work. Okay, with that, I will, we could take some time for questions or thoughts. Let's see, we had some comments in the, Greg is saying that there's actually 10 or 12 sub-working groups in the state task force, including one facilitated by the Labor Council with representatives from all state unions, including AFT, which is the Association of Federated Teachers. So thank you for that, Greg. So this, if you, somebody would like the slides, if you scan that QR code, it will take you to the slides in Google. It'll also be posted on the, it'll be posted on in the Whova app. It'll also be posted on our LibGuide as well. Any examples of AI use in projects in Introduction to Statistics and Math 1-6? Rajesh, email me, because we have some great librarians that have in our neighborhood. I'm thinking of Tacoma Community College that have done some interesting work in that. So if you email me, I will send that back out to you. Oops. And then, okay. So I know this is kind of a kind of a shotgun approach to these questions, because what I'm really interested in is how we manage change, right? And some of us have been through a lot of those changes. Um, does anyone have a example, for instance, of an education technology or an education technology movement that they saw come and go, and they're either glad it's gone or sad that it's gone? Yeah, Google Reader. Yeah, that was a very powerful tool. Greg misses Blackboard. Yeah, Oh, you don't miss it. Yeah, so I get it. Okay. I, I wasn't gonna comment, but that was, yeah. Yeah, Dan doesn't miss skill and drill. Yeah, and Dara doesn't miss online remote teaching during lockdowns. Is that right?
Yeah, it's kind of both, Jeff. Because I think like online, like obviously, I think we're all glad to be back teaching in person, but like where I work anyway, there was a big push to like get back to normal, and I think a lot of the benefits that maybe were there with online remote teaching were lost. Like, there's a lot that could have been taken from that period, but I think people really just, wanted to get back to normal, so just forgot about kind of what I could or couldn't do. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I think so. I think and I thought it was really unfortunate that online learning was evaluated through the lens of COVID because before COVID, there was a lot of really great work in online learning being done, a lot of great programs, a lot of really good ideas. But we have uh, when COVID came along, we had a lot of stuff just going up online very quickly, and that really colored the way that people saw online learning. Um, And I think that because we're in such the early stages of AI, that the uh, that judging it from its current state right now is would would be a mistake. I think where this is going to go is going to be very different from what it is today. And I still think we're tying people to the top of the wheel, right now. You think for a moment about the combustion engine. Uh, sound like a great idea at the time. You know, um, if you look at what we did with automobiles in the beginning, it was they literally looked like wheelbarrows and buggies, and it took a while for us to figure out how to actually use the technology, and then now we're confronted with the cost of it. And thank you for your comment, Latoya. Yeah, I think that the human costs of running these tools is and the environmental impact um, is that's something that really needs to be talked about and addressed. Yeah, and thank you, Ronald, for bringing Trish's comment to the top there. What's one thing you would want to say to the state task force about the challenges to higher ed in the age of AI? I think the number one um, Well, let's see. I don't know about one thing, but I think it's ensuring equitable access to tools, and then also supporting faculty, the professional development um, in managing this. I think uh, is really important. It's this could go the way of the interactive whiteboard if we don't tend to the um, supporting faculty. Yeah, and Dara makes the point that a lot of the promotion of AI is inevitable is coming from parties with a financial interest in it. Yeah, it's inevitable, um, but how the technology is changing so fast, we don't know what the inevitable really is. Okay, the one of the reasons why we put this event together was because um, not because I'm a brilliant speaker, uh, but to help us connect with you and to uh, create a broader community around AI, open education, and education in general. And one of the nodes in that network is our podcast, which is Simon Says Educate, which is also available. It's available on Spotify and wherever you get your podcasts. It's available. It's a weekly podcast. We've had, for instance, one of our presenters here, Dr. Megan Sanders, uh, was kind enough to do an interview on it. And
Don't and two of our presenters, Deanna Faraday, was also on one of the podcasts talking about ungrading.
oh, great, great, yeah, yeah, yeah. And so, um, so we want to encourage you to check out the podcast. Also, our um, yeah, just keep an eye out for these events. We're hoping to do this every year, you know, if we can. So this is our third year of putting on these institutes, and this is the first one centered on AI. Yeah, Ronald says that we did a series on AI in the podcast, so take a look at that. All right, I appreciate everyone's feedback and participation, and thank you again for coming to the AI Institute.
All right, let's get a round of applause for Jeff Cain. Thank you, Jeff, for your knowledge and your time. All right, so I have some people that are interested in figuring out how to get into the Canvas course. So I'm going to help people with that. But first, let me just get this one up on the screen to let y'all know what's happening next in this room. So if you're going to stay on the ethics track, we got another couple people here from Clover Park Technical College. Dr. Claire Korshanowski is the Dean of Instruction for Mechatronics and Manufacturing. And I see we've got some people that are presenting with her in here. It's nice to see you, Joe. So that's coming up next. For some people who have questions with Canvas, let me explain the process for y'all, and maybe if you have any questions, I can help you with those as well.
Can I like project my screen so you can see how it sends me in a loop?
Yes. Let's see this loop and see if we can get you out of it.
Please don't laugh at all of the tabs I have open trying to figure this out. Okay, so here's my, you go to my inbox and there's this last one from Clover Park. It has to do with me contacting a librarian to get help.
Okay, hold on. Are you sharing your screen now, or are you?
Yeah, oh, sorry, didn't click share. Sorry, there you go. So I'll go back to, let's see, trying to figure out which one I was at. So here's the instructions.
Yep.
And so you go down and you click please click here. So
Mhm.
go like to there, for example. Please click here.
Yep.
I put in my username. I've tried both of these with the pps.net and without. Which one do you suggest?
Let me,
Excuse me, I just filled out the
okay.
application and it completely worked. I'm in the class, so just fill out the application at the
Hold
top.
on.
I already did the
She's
application
done that, but
yesterday.
she's in a loop. So
Ah,
that's
okay, I'm
working for
sorry.
you, Betsy.
I
That's
did
great.
that
Yeah.
yesterday. Yeah. So
Okay,
there we
let's see.
go. I did it with 2 emails because I couldn't get it to work.
All right. Let's see.
So which one do you suggest I use? At or not
I'm
at?
gonna tell you which one I added into the course. So, I don't think I was clear when I explained it at the beginning, and maybe it's not coming through clearly in the instructions. But since I have to add you, since you're trying to access a course that we have on the Clover Park instance of Canvas, then I have to add you manually first. So
I think someone already did that.
that someone would be me, and then let me see if let me double check to make sure that you are in with what's the email?
sfoley@pps.net.
That's oh, it's not coming up. Okay, hold on. Let me at pps.net.
Yes, like Portland Public Schools.
All right, let me I'm gonna add you right now.
Okay.
And your name. See, I'm gonna take that one down. How do you say your name?
Sanoon.
Sanu.